The lights of the alien station never turned off. They stayed bright all the time, cold and white, like eyes that never blinked. Humans said the lights were there to remind them who was in control. Evan walked through the long metal hall with his head down. He wore the gray clothes of a human worker. Thin, worn, clean but old. His boots made soft sounds on the floor, but no one looked at him. Humans were easy to ignore. The war had ended 20 years ago. Humans lost. The aliens won the sky, the planets, and the law. Humans were allowed to live, but only to work. Only to serve. Evan worked 12 hours a day fixing power lines for alien ships. He slept in a small room with no window. He ate cheap food that tasted like dust. He spoke to no one most days. Tonight was different. At the end of the hall was a door with a blue symbol glowing above it. Humans hated that symbol. Alien service exchange. Legal. Clean. Cold. Evan stopped in front of the door. He told himself to turn back. He did not. Inside, the air smelled sweet and wrong. Soft alien music played, slow and calm. Hologram screens floated in the air, showing faces, names, and prices. Not people. Products. Evan felt sick. Aliens walked freely here. Tall ones. Short ones. Some with many eyes. Some with none. Humans were rare. When they were here, it was usually for one reason. Evan went to a screen and touched it. Human client detected, the system said in a smooth voice. Time rental only. 1 night maximum. That's fine, Evan said quietly. Faces changed on the screen. Alien females. Different skin colors. Different shapes. Some smiled. Some did not. Then he saw her. Her name was Lyra. Her skin was pale blue, almost like the sky before rain. Her eyes were large and silver, but empty, like they had learned not to hope. Thin metal marks rested on her neck and wrists. Control marks. Evan's chest tightened. Selection confirmed, the system said. Contract time. 1 night. The door opened. Lyra stepped inside the room. She stood still, hands at her sides, waiting. That was how owned beings stood. Ready. Silent. Evan sat on the edge of the bed, unsure what to do. You may begin, the system said. Evan looked at Lyra. Sit, he said gently, pointing to the chair. She blinked, confused. Slowly, she sat. Minutes passed. He did nothing. Lyra's eyes moved, watching him. Fear hid behind her calm face. You don't have to be scared, Evan said. I won't hurt you. She did not answer. He tried again. You can talk, if you want. Her voice, when it came, was quiet and careful. Talking is not required. I know, Evan said, but I want to hear you. She looked at him then, really looked, like she was trying to understand what kind of human he was. My name is Lyra, she said. I'm Evan. Another pause. Why did you choose me? She asked. Evan thought for a moment. Because you looked lonely. Lyra lowered her eyes. As the night passed, they talked. Not about pleasure. About small things. About stars. About music. About the sounds of home. Lyra spoke about her world. Evan did not sleep that night. He lay on his narrow bed, staring at the metal ceiling of his room. The station hummed around him, a deep sound that never stopped. Pipes breathed. Lights buzzed. Somewhere far away, ships moved in silence. Every time Evan closed his eyes, he saw Lyra's face. Not her smile, but her eyes. Silver, quiet, empty, like someone who had learned not to ask for more. The words from the market screen burned in his mind. Low value. Recycle date pending. In alien law, recycle did not mean reuse. It meant erase. Evan sat up and rubbed his face. He was just a human worker. One person. One life among millions. The system was too big. Too strong. But his chest felt heavy, like something was pressing from the inside. The next day, Evan worked slower than usual. He climbed cables and fixed power lines, but his hands shook. An alien supervisor noticed. You are inefficient today, the alien said in its sharp voice. Sorry, Evan replied, lowering his eyes. At break time, Evan went to the station data hub. Humans were allowed to search public records, as long as they paid. Evan spent his last credits without thinking. Lyra's file opened on the screen. Species: Ilari. Status: indentured asset. Contract type: time rental. Final option: permanent purchase or recycle. Evan scrolled down. Permanent purchase cost. A number flashed on the screen. Evan's breath caught. The price was more than he would earn in 10 years. More than a human worker was ever meant to have. The number felt unreal, like a cruel joke. He laughed once, short and bitter. "So that's the price of a life," he whispered. That night, he met his friend Jax near the lower docks. Jax had grease on his hands and tired eyes like Evan. "You look terrible," Jax said. Evan told him everything. Jax listened in silence, then shook his head. "You can't save everyone." "I know," Evan said. "You can't save her either," Jax added. "The system is built to crush humans. You fight it, you disappear." Evan looked at the floor. "She's already disappearing." Jax cursed under his breath. "You get caught trying this, they won't recycle you. They'll make an example." Evan nodded. He knew, but knowing did not change the weight in his chest. The next week, Evan sold his belongings. His old music player, his extra clothes, even the small metal charm his mother gave him before the war. Each sale hurt, but not enough. The number on the screen stayed too high. Then Evan saw an offer on a hidden channel. High-risk labor, immediate payment, no questions, illegal work, alien mining zones, radiation cleanup, jobs humans were not meant to survive. Evan accepted. The first job burned his skin. The second filled his lungs with dust. The third almost killed him when a tunnel collapsed. Each time he got up. Each time he earned credits. At night, he dreamed of Lyra sitting in a white room, waiting. Time passed too fast. One evening, Evan checked the market system again. Recycle date: 3 days remaining. His hands trembled. On the final day, Evan collapsed at the job site. Blood ran from his nose. The alien guard laughed. "Human bodies are weak," it said. Evan smiled through the pain, because the credit balance flashed green. Enough, barely enough. He rushed through the station, ignoring the pain in his chest. The market chamber was silent when the payment cleared. For half a second, nothing happened. Then the air changed. The soft music stopped. The lights dimmed, then brightened again. A low sound rolled through the room, like the station itself was confused. The alien clerk stared at the screen. Its long fingers froze in the air. "That action is uncommon," it said slowly. Evan stood at the counter, breathing hard. His clothes were stained from work dust and dried blood. His body hurt everywhere, but he did not care. "I know," Evan said. "That's why I did it." A red light flashed above the counter. "Warning," the system said. "Human client has completed permanent purchase of alien asset. Manual review required." The clerk's thin mouth curled into something close to a smile. "You may regret this, human." "Maybe," Evan replied, "but not today." Across the station, a small door slid open. Lyra sat on the narrow bench inside her holding room. The walls were smooth and white, with no marks, no edges. She had learned not to touch them, not to ask questions, not to hope. A soft tone sounded. Her control marks warmed against her skin. That usually meant transfer. Lyra stood at once, hands straight, eyes down. She prepared herself for another owner, another voice, another set of rules. The door opened. 2 guards stepped aside. Evan walked in. Lyra froze. Her eyes lifted slowly, disbelief written across her face. "You?" she whispered. Evan stopped a few steps away. He raised his hands slightly, showing he meant no harm. "It's me," he said. Lyra's breath shook. This is not my contract cycle." "I know," Evan said. "I changed it." She looked past him, searching for hidden cameras, guards, tricks. "This is not allowed," she said. Fear crept into her voice. "If this is a test." "It's not," Evan said gently. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small silver chip. The edges were sharp, official. Permanent release authorization. Lyra stared at it like it might vanish. "What is that?" she asked, though her voice already knew. Evan placed the chip in the wall slot. The room lights flickered. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the control marks on Lyra's neck went dark. The warmth vanished. The weight she had carried for years disappeared in a single breath. Lyra gasped and grabbed her wrist, then her neck. Her eyes widened. "It's a gone," she said. "Yes," Evan replied. "You're free." The station reacted at once. Alarms screamed. Red lights flashed. "Unauthorized emotional transfer detected." The system shouted. "All personnel remain in place." Lyra backed away, panic rising. "They will punish you. Humans are not allowed to do this." Evan smiled, tired but calm. "They can try." Guards rushed past the door, shouting in alien tongues. The station buzzed with confusion. Lyra looked at Evan, really looked at him. Not as a client, not as an owner, as a person. "Why?" she asked again. "Why risk your life for me?" Evan thought of the nights alone, the cold lights, the empty workdays. "I couldn't walk away," he said. "Not after you thanked me for acting human." Lyra's eyes filled, but no tears fell. Her people had learned to hold pain deep. The alarm suddenly stopped. A calm voice filled the hall. "Review complete," the system said. "Contract valid. Ownership confirmed." Lyra stiffened. "Ownership?" Evan turned back to the counter display. His stomach tightened. "Status? Lyra, permanently owned." He clenched his fists. "That's not what I wanted," he said. The clerk's voice echoed through the room. "The system does not recognize free, only owned or erased." Lyra swallowed. "Then I am still a thing." Evan stepped closer. "No, not to me." He placed his hand over his chest and bowed his head, a human sign of respect. "You owe me nothing," he said. "Stay if you want. Leave if you want. I will never command you." Lyra watched him, unsure. Then slowly, she reached out and touched his sleeve. Freedom did not feel the way Lyra expected. There were no bright sounds, no sudden joy, no clear path forward. There was only silence, heavy and unsure, like standing in open space without a map. Evan gave her his small room. He slept on the floor that first night, not because she asked, but because it felt right to him. Lyra sat on the bed, hands folded, listening to the sounds of the station. Every noise made her tense. Doors, steps, distant alarms. Her body still waited for orders that never came. "You can rest," Evan said softly. She nodded, though rest did not come. The next morning, the station felt different. Eyes followed them, not just alien eyes, but human ones too. Word had spread faster than Evan expected. A human had bought an alien and set her free. Some humans looked at Evan with quiet respect, others with fear, a few with anger. "You're making things worse," one man hissed as Evan passed. "Aliens don't forget." Aliens truly did not forget. At the upper level, a tall alien official watched the report scroll past its screen. Symbols flashed. Warnings stacked. "Explain," it demanded. "A human completed a permanent purchase and failed to enforce control," a lower official replied. "The asset shows signs of independent choice." The tall alien's eyes narrowed. "Independent choice is instability." "Yes, Overseer." "Track them," the Overseer said. "Not yet. Let them believe they are safe." Back in Evan's room, Lyra stood near the door, staring at the wall display. News channels played silently, humans protesting, small fights breaking out, guards moving in lines. "Because of me," Lyra said quietly. "Because of the system," Evan replied. "It was broken long before you." She turned to him. "My people believed aliens valued order above all things. But this is not order. This is fear." Evan nodded. "They fear anything they can't own." That night, Lyra finally told Evan the rest. Her species, the Alari, had once worked with the alien rulers. Peaceful, skilled with energy fields, When the rulers learned the Alari could adapt faster than expected, they made a decision. Slow removal. Sell the survivors. Erase the records. Let time finish the rest. I am one of the last, Lyra said. When I am gone, no one will remember us. Evan felt something cold move through him. They won't erase you. They will try, she replied. The next day, Evan was called to his workstation early. An alien guard stood waiting. You will come with me, it said. Evan's heart raced. Lyra stepped forward without thinking. No, she said. The guard's eyes flicked to her. You are not authorized to speak. I am free, Lyra said, her voice steady. And he is under my protection. The guard paused. Systems updated. Rules fought each other. After a long moment, the guard stepped back. Temporary, it said. Evan stared at Lyra. That was brave. She shook her head. That was choice. Later that day, drones circled their living area. Not attacking. Watching. At night, Evan found a hidden message on his datapad. Human, you have disrupted balance. Return the asset. Lyra read it with him. They will not stop, she said. Evan met her eyes. Neither will we. Human groups began to reach out in secret. Quiet meetings. Shared data. Whispers of resistance. For the first time, Lyra saw humans not as broken workers, but as people holding back fire. They are afraid, she said, but they are still strong. Yes, Evan replied. We just forgot it for a while. The overseer watched as reports increased. More humans questioned contracts. More aliens hesitated. One anomaly had become many. Prepare containment, the overseer ordered. Back in the small room, Lyra stood beside Evan, looking out at the metal wall that hid the stars. I could leave, she said softly. Run. Disappear. They would. The first message went out at dawn station time. Evan did not send it with anger. He sent it with truth. Images. Records. Contracts. Proof of erased names and silent deaths. Everything he and Lyra had gathered in secret over long nights. Files the aliens believed were buried too deep for humans to find. The message spread through human networks like fire through dry air. At first, people only watched. Then they remembered. In worker tunnels and repair bays, humans whispered to each other. On cargo decks and power levels, hands paused over tools. Eyes lifted from the floor. They sold lives, someone said. They erased whole species, another replied. They told us this was law. Lyra watched the reaction feeds from the small room Evan called home. Human faces filled the screen. Fear was still there, but something else had joined it. Anger. Is this how change begins? She asked. Evan nodded. Humans don't move fast. But when we move together. Alien Command did not stay silent. Public channels filled with calm voices and sharp warnings. Do not believe false data. Human emotion distorts logic. Order must be preserved. But the words felt thin, because humans had lived under order for 20 years, and it had only brought pain. Small acts of refusal began. A repair crew shut down a power line for 1 hour too long. A cargo team delayed a shipment without reason. A data worker copied files instead of deleting them. Nothing loud, nothing violent, just enough to be noticed. The overseer watched the station maps glow with warning colors. Containment is failing, a lower official said. Then apply pressure, the overseer replied. Alien patrols increased. Guards walked closer to human zones. Drones hovered lower, their eyes bright and cold. Evan knew it was only a matter of time. They are preparing to crush this, he said. Lyra stood beside him, her posture straight. Then we must show them something new. She opened a hidden file. These are energy patterns from my people, she said. We used them to protect cities, not to fight. Evan looked at the data, stunned. This could block their control systems. For a short time, Lyra said. Long enough. They shared the data with the human networks. Within hours, stations across the sector flickered. Control signals failed. Doors unlocked. For the first time in decades, humans moved without permission. Alien command reacted with force. Full lockdown, the overseer ordered. Arrest the human. Retrieve the Alari. Guards stormed Evan's level. Lyra grabbed his hand. If they take you, this ends. Evan shook his head. If we run, it ends too. The doors burst open. Alien soldiers filled the hall, weapons raised. Evan Hale, the lead guard said. You are under arrest for system disruption. Lyra stepped forward. You fear us, she said clearly. That is why you attack. The guard hesitated. Not from fear, from confusion. Aliens were not used to being spoken to like equals. Evan felt the station tremble. Human workers poured into the halls. Not armed, not violent, standing, watching, waiting. The alien weapons stayed raised, but no order came. Across the station, similar scenes played out. Humans did not kneel. They did not beg. They simply stood where they were. The overseer's screen filled with warnings. Too many humans. Too many systems unstable. This was not rebellion as aliens understood. The station shook not from weapons but from confusion. Commands crossed. Orders canceled each other. Systems blinked between control and failure. The alien fleets outside waited, engines hot, unsure who truly held power anymore. In the middle of it all, Evan was taken. Not by force, by precision. A quiet pulse shut down the hall lights. Gravity shifted for one breath. Alien security moved fast, trained for moments like this. Before Lyra could react, energy bands locked around Evan's arms. No! Lyra shouted, rushing forward. A shield snapped up between them. Do not interfere, an officer said. This human is the source. Evan met Lyra's eyes through the field. This isn't over, he said calmly. She pressed her hand against the barrier, her breath shaking. They will kill you. Then don't let them, Evan replied softly. He was taken to the upper levels where humans were rarely allowed to breathe the air. The walls there were dark glass, reflecting stars and power. The overseer waited in a wide chamber, tall and still. You are inefficient, the overseer said, but disruptive. Evan stood straight. I'm human. That is clear, the overseer replied. You have two options. A screen appeared. Option 1, Evan's execution. Immediate order restored. Lyra returned to control. The movement erased. Option 2, Evan lives. Lyra is returned. Humans return to work. No punishment. Silence followed. You trade your life for her, the overseer said. Or you trade her freedom for your life. Evan laughed once, tired. You still don't understand. Lyra was brought into the chamber under guard. Her face went pale when she saw the screen. No, she whispered. Do not do this. The overseer watched them. Choose. Evan looked at Lyra. He saw fear. Not for herself. For him. You were never meant to be owned, he said. Not by them. Not by me. Not by fear. Lyra shook her head. I cannot lose you. You won't, Evan replied. You'll live. He turned to the overseer. I refuse, Evan said. The room went silent. Refusal was not in the system. That is not an option, the overseer said. It is for humans, Evan answered. Alarms screamed again. Outside the chamber, the station erupted. Human networks detected the arrest. Messages flooded every channel. Workers stopped all systems at once. Power dropped. Doors unlocked. Gravity shifted in human zones. Lyra felt something rise inside her. Not fear. Resolve. She closed her eyes and reached deep into her memory. Into the energy patterns her people once used to protect worlds. The control field around her flickered, cracked, then shattered. The guards stumbled back in shock. Lyra stepped forward, eyes glowing faintly silver. I choose, she said. Energy surged through the chamber. Systems failed. The overseer's calm finally broke. You are unstable, it said. No, Lyra replied. I am free. She reached Evan and broke his restraints. The chamber doors burst open as humans and alien workers flooded in together. The overseer tried to issue a fleet command. Nothing happened. The fleets outside powered down. For the first time, alien control did not answer. Evan stood beside Lyra. The stars looked different after the system fell. They were the same stars, burning in the dark, but now they felt closer, quieter, as if the universe itself was waiting to see what would happen next. The station no longer belonged to alien rulers. It did not belong to humans either. It belonged to those who lived on it. In the days that followed, chaos tried to rise. Systems failed. Old rules broke. Fear returned in waves. But something stronger pushed back. Choice. Human workers met with alien labor groups. Not as masters and tools, but as voices at the same table. Some meetings ended in shouting. Some in silence. A few in understanding. Evan was there for many of them, still thin, still tired, but standing straight. Lyra stood beside him. No guards followed her now. No control marks burned her skin. She wore simple clothes, chosen by her, in colors that reminded her of her lost world. When alien officials spoke, they listened. When humans spoke, they were heard. The overseer was gone. Not erased. Not executed. Removed from command and placed under review by the new council. A word that had never existed before. Council. Across the sector, stations copied the change. Some slowly, some with fear, some with hope. The old empire did not fall in fire. Faded. Lyra's people were not forgotten. Records were restored. Names recovered. Worlds marked as protected. Small colonies of Alari survivors were found hiding in deep space, living quiet lives, believing they were alone. They were not. When the message reached them, many cried for the first time in years. Evan watched Lyra read the report. Her hands shook. "They live," she whispered. "Yes," Evan said, "and now they will be remembered." One evening, they stood at the station's outer window. The glass was clear now, not darkened by control filters. Stars spread out before them, endless and open. "I never planned for this," Evan said quietly. "I only wanted to save one life." Lyra looked at him, silver eyes warm. "That is how all big changes begin." She turned her hand over and took his. No system recorded it. No law approved it. It was simply a choice. Humans still struggled. Aliens still argued. Peace was not perfect, and it never would be. But fear no longer ruled every breath. Children, human and alien, played together in shared halls. Languages mixed. Music changed. New stories were told. One of them was about a human who rented one night of company and refused to walk away. Lyra sometimes woke at night, heart racing, expecting cold lights and orders. Evan would sit with her until the fear passed. "You are safe," he would say, and she would believe him. One day, Lyra asked a question she had held inside for a long time. "Why did you stay?" she asked. "Even when you could have left after saving me?" Evan thought before answering. "Because freedom is lonely if you don't share it," he said. She smiled then, a full smile, the kind that reached her eyes. "I choose you," she said, "not as owner, not as rescue, as equal." They did not sign contracts. They did not ask permission. They built a small home on a quiet world near a blue sun. The land was open, the sky wide, the wind warm, like the stories Lyra remembered from childhood. Sometimes they argued. Sometimes they laughed. Sometimes they simply watched the stars in silence. Love was not easy, but it was real. Long after, historians would argue about when the system truly fell. Some would say it was when humans stopped kneeling. Others would say it was when aliens hesitated. But those who understood the truth would say this: it began when one human saw an alien not as a thing, but as a person. He rented her for one night. He bought her freedom forever. But love was never for sale.